Welcome to the Hidden Vatican. Today we'll delve into the shadowy corridors of the Vatican Order of Malta, one of the most enigmatic and powerful organizations in the Catholic world. Prepare to discover how former Crusader knights became the most discreet agents of modern papal diplomacy. Imagine for a moment an organization that has its own passports, embassies in over 100 countries, but no physical territory beyond a palace in Rome. An entity that maintains official diplomatic relations with sovereign nations, issues its own stamps and coins, yet remains shrouded in absolute mystery. This is the reality of the sovereign military hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Malta, known simply as the Order of Malta. The history of this order dates back to the Crusades, when knights dressed in black and bearing the iconic 8-pointed white cross marched through the deserts of the Holy Land. Unlike the Templars, who were disbanded under accusations of heresy and corruption, the Hospitallers survived medieval persecutions, reinventing themselves over the centuries. But did they truly abandon their secretive practices, or did they simply learn to operate in the shadows with greater sophistication? What makes the Vatican Order of Malta particularly intriguing is its unique status under international law. It is simultaneously a Catholic religious order and a subject of international law, with sovereignty recognized by dozens of countries. Imagine an organization that can send ambassadors, negotiate treaties, and conduct diplomatic operations parallel to the Vatican itself. It's as if there were a state within the papal state, operating with near total autonomy. During the Crusades, these knights were not only holy warriors, they were also bankers, diplomats, and, according to historical records, masters of intelligence. They controlled strategic trade routes, maintained information networks that stretched across the Mediterranean, and developed encrypted communication systems centuries before the modern era. Their fortresses in Rhodes and later Malta were not just military bases, but also centers of operations for a sophisticated medieval espionage network. When the order lost Malta to Napoleon, many historians believed it would be the end of this ancient institution. But the Knights of Malta demonstrated an extraordinary capacity for adaptation, transforming themselves from a medieval military force into a modern humanitarian organization. However, critics and conspiracy theorists question, was this truly a genuine transformation, or a perfect camouflage to continue more discreet operations? The modern structure of the Vatican Order of Malta reveals a labyrinth of hierarchies and connections that defy conventional understanding of religious organizations. At the top of this pyramid stands the Grand Master, a figure who possesses the prerogatives of a head of state but reports directly to the Pope. It is a unique position in the world, a sovereign leader who is simultaneously a subject of the Roman Pontiff. The order's members are divided into different classes, from Knights of Justice, who take religious vows, to Knights of Honor and Devotion, which include laymen of high social and political standing. This structure allows the order to infiltrate the highest spheres of global power, maintaining a network of influence that transcends national and religious boundaries. Each member carries with them not only social prestige, but also access to exclusive circles where true global decisions are made. What intrigues researchers most is the list of illustrious members of the order throughout modern history. We find names like William Casey, former director of the CIA, Alexander Haig, former U.S. Secretary of State, and dozens of leading generals, diplomats, and business leaders. It's no coincidence that many of these individuals held key positions at crucial moments in world history. The Maltese Cross has become a discrete symbol of membership in a global elite that operates beyond traditional government structures. The order's parallel diplomacy operates through channels that bypass conventional diplomatic protocols. While official ambassadors negotiate through foreign ministries, representatives of the Order of Malta Vatican operate through personal networks, discreet meetings in private residences, and meetings that never appear on official agendas. It is a form of diplomacy that leaves no documentary trail, but produces concrete results on sensitive global issues. A fascinating example of this hidden influence can be observed during international crises. Often, even before official international organizations mobilize, the Order of Malta is already present in conflict zones, ostensibly on humanitarian missions. But critics question whether these operations don't also serve as cover for intelligence activities, strategic information gathering, and the establishment of secret communication channels between warring parties. The Order's ability to issue its own travel documents creates intriguing possibilities for discreet operations. An Order of Malta passport allows international movement without the usual scrutiny reserved for conventional diplomats. It is a document that opens doors without arousing suspicion, granting access to places and people that would otherwise remain inaccessible through traditional diplomatic channels. The Order of Malta's transformation into an ostensibly humanitarian organization coincided curiously with the emergence of modern intelligence services. While governments were creating agencies like the CIA, MI6, and the KGB, the Catholic Church developed its own intelligence gathering and analysis mechanisms, and the Order of Malta became a key piece in this puzzle. The genius of this structure lies in its apparent innocence. Hospitals, ambulances, and humanitarian relief missions provide perfect cover for intelligence operations. An Order of Malta doctor working in a war zone has privileged access to military, political, and economic information that would be impossible to obtain through conventional espionage channels. Wounded soldiers speak out, military commanders frequent medical facilities, and refugees carry with them valuable intelligence on troop movements and military strategies. During the Cold War, observers noted that the Order maintained simultaneous operations on both sides of the Iron Curtain. Officially, these were nonpartisan humanitarian missions, but the ability to move freely between opposing ideological blocs raised questions about the true purpose of these activities. The Order became one of the few organizations capable of operating in both the Soviet Union and the United States, maintaining cordial relations with both superpowers. The operational methods of the Vatican Order of Malta reflect centuries of experience in clandestine operations. They utilize codes based on religious texts, communication systems that pass through ecclesiastical channels, and networks of contacts ranging from cardinals to secular leaders. It is a methodology that combines modern sophistication with ancient traditions of discretion and operational security. Particularly intriguing is the Order's relationship with national intelligence agencies. Declassified documents reveal that several members of the Order simultaneously held leadership positions in government intelligence services. This overlapping loyalties raises complex questions about where national interests end and the Church's objectives begin. Some theorists suggest that the Order functions as a supranational intelligence center, coordinating information among different government agencies under the aegis of Catholic interests. The Order's recruitment capacity is another element that raises suspicions. You don't become a member of the Order of Malta by chance. It requires an invitation, a rigorous background check, and approval from the upper echelons. This selection process ensures that only individuals with access to confidential information and positions of influence are incorporated into the organization. It's a system that creates an elite within the elite, united not only by social privileges, but by oaths of loyalty that transcend national borders. The modern influence of the Vatican Order of Malta extends far beyond traditional Catholic circles, penetrating secular power structures with a subtlety that defies casual detection. International banks, multinational corporations, and multilateral organizations count among their senior executives individuals who discreetly display the Maltese cross. This network of influence operates through unwritten codes, mutual favors, and solidarity that transcend commercial competition or political rivalry. In the financial world, the presence of Knights of Malta in strategic positions creates unique opportunities for economic policy coordination. Imagine meetings of central bank governors where half the participants share secret oaths of loyalty to a supranational organization. Decisions on interest rates, monetary policies, and capital flows can be influenced by considerations that never appear in official minutes or public reports. The defense industry represents another sector where the Order's influence is particularly evident. Executives of major arms companies, retired generals turned consultants, and senior officials in defense ministries frequently display connections to the Order. This network enables discreet coordination of military policies, arms sales, and defense strategies that serve not only national interests, but also obscure supranational objectives. The media and communications sector also shows signs of this subtle influence. Owners of large media conglomerates, editors of influential publications, and technology executives with connections to the Order have an extraordinary ability to shape public perceptions of sensitive issues. When scandals involving the Catholic Church emerge, It is often noted that media coverage tends to be more restrained in outlets whose owners maintain ties to traditional Catholic organizations. The Vatican Order of Malta also maintains close relationships with secular humanitarian organizations and United Nations agencies. This official collaboration provides privileged access to information on emerging humanitarian crises, refugee movements, and political instability in sensitive regions. Data that officially serves humanitarian purposes can easily be used for geopolitical analysis and strategic planning of a non-humanitarian nature. Particularly revealing is the Order's ability to mobilize substantial financial resources for specific operations without detailed public scrutiny. Unlike conventional charities, the Order is not subject to the same financial transparency requirements. This opacity allows for discreet funding of activities that can range from legitimate humanitarian operations to more controversial projects that would not withstand the public spotlight. The Order's global network functions as an alternative nervous system for the global elite, providing communication and coordination channels that operate parallel to official government and corporate structures. It is a form of shadow governance that influences public decisions through private mechanisms, creating an additional layer of power that remains largely invisible to traditional democratic scrutiny. The contemporary operations of the Vatican Order of Malta reveal a consistent pattern of involvement in geopolitically sensitive situations under the guise of humanitarian activities. A careful analysis of its missions over the past few decades reveals a systematic presence in locations that later became focal points of strategic interest for world powers. This temporal coincidence suggests predictive analysis and planning capabilities that go far beyond the typical scope of charitable organizations. During conflicts in the Middle East, the Order established operations in areas that later proved crucial for controlling energy resources and strategic trade routes. Officially, these missions focused on medical assistance and humanitarian relief. But the specific choice of locations, the timing of operations, and the relationships developed with local actors suggest broader objectives. The Order's hospitals and clinics often became political hubs where local leaders, military commanders, and international representatives met, far from the glare of the international media. The Order's operational methodology in conflict zones demonstrates a sophistication that surpasses that of conventional humanitarian organizations. They utilize encrypted communication systems, maintain security protocols comparable to military operations, and develop relationships that persist well beyond the official duration of humanitarian missions. Order personnel often remain in regions for extended periods, building local networks that can be activated as needed. Particularly intriguing is the Order's ability to gain access to restricted areas during international crises. While journalists and international observers face severe restrictions on their movement, representatives of the Order frequently move freely through combat zones, areas under military control, and politically sensitive territories. This exceptional freedom of movement suggests prior agreements with multiple warring parties, arrangements that would be difficult to explain without considerations beyond purely humanitarian motivations. Intelligence collection during these operations is carried out through methods that exploit the inherent trust associated with religious organizations. Refugees, wounded soldiers, and displaced civilians often share sensitive information with medical and religious personnel that they would not otherwise disclose to government officials or journalists. This human intelligence, collected under the guise of spiritual and medical assistance, provides unique insights into local dynamics, military capabilities, and the political intentions of various actors. The financing of these operations also raises intriguing questions. Order missions in remote and dangerous regions require substantial resources for logistics, security, and specialized equipment. While some donations are public, financial analyses suggest additional funding sources that are not fully transparent. This financial opacity allows for operational flexibility that would be impossible under close public scrutiny. The Order also maintains close relationships with private military contractors and security companies operating in conflict zones. These partnerships provide operational capabilities that go far beyond the typical scope of humanitarian organizations, including armed protection, security intelligence, and military logistics. It's a synergy that blurs the lines between humanitarian missions and paramilitary operations. The final analysis of the Vatican Order of Malta reveals an organization that represents the supreme evolution of ecclesiastical power, adapted to modern geopolitical realities. It is not simply a religious order with humanitarian activities, but a sophisticated instrument of global influence operating at the intersections of religion, diplomacy, intelligence, and economic power. It is the discrete operational arm of a worldview that transcends national borders and conventional political systems. The order's strategic genius lies in its ability to operate simultaneously as a legitimate religious actor and an agency of geopolitical influence. This duality provides perfect cover for activities that would be controversial if conducted by governments or corporations. Under the aegis of spiritual and humanitarian motivations, the order can pursue objectives that would be politically impossible through conventional channels. It is a form of power that is not accountable to elections, is not subject to political cycles, and does not face the volatility of modern democracies. The global network established by the order represents perhaps the most sophisticated non-governmental influence system in the contemporary world. It connects leaders from different sectors, nationalities, and political ideologies through ties that transcend superficial competition and rivalry. It is a structure that enables the coordination of global policies and strategies in ways that remain largely invisible to public and conventional academic scrutiny. The future of the Vatican Order of Malta will likely see its influence continue to expand as the world becomes more interconnected and complex. Global issues such as climate change, pandemics, and economic instability require coordination that transcends national governments. The order is perfectly positioned to play a central role in this emerging global governance, operating through mechanisms that circumvent the limitations of traditional democratic structures. The fundamental question that remains is whether this influence genuinely serves universal humanitarian interests or more specific objectives related to the expansion of global Catholic power. The inherent opacity of the order's operations makes this assessment extremely difficult. What is certain is that the Order of Malta represents a form of power that defies conventional categories of political and social analysis. For those seeking to understand the real mechanisms of power in the modern world, the Vatican Order of Malta offers a fascinating case study of how genuine influence operates through channels that remain largely invisible to the general public. It's a reminder that the forces shaping our world often operate in the shadows, using methods that combine ancient traditions with contemporary sophistication. If this dive into the secrets of Vatican shadow diplomacy piqued your curiosity, be sure to watch our other videos on the secret organizations that shape humanity's destiny. Subscribe to Hidden Vatican and turn on notifications so you don't miss any episodes of this ongoing investigation into the hidden powers that govern our world. Let us know in the comments, what aspect of the Order of Malta intrigued you most? Are their humanitarian operations genuine, or do they serve more obscure purposes? Your opinion could be the key to unraveling more mysteries of this web of global power that remains shrouded in centuries of shadow.